Hi, this is Jennifer Wu from Upper Deck, and you're listening to the Marvel Card Collectors Podcast.
Hello everybody, my name is Ian Taylor and welcome to the Marvel Card Collectors Podcast, brought to you by the Marvel Cards Fan Collective, an awesome community of card collectors and creators. You can find our two groups on Facebook, details of which are at the end of this podcast, so come check us out right now. With me, as always, is my co-pilot in all things Marvel cards. I'm making myself laugh now because I've just read what I'm about to say. After every podcast, he lays back on his silver surfboard and says, "Paint me like one of your French girls." It's Norrin Rad.
God, I wish that was true. God, I wish that was true.
I actually visualize you doing it as well. Strange.
I can
strange.
See it.
That's disturbing. That's disturbing, but it's good. We'll go with it. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing great. Now I'm just imagining myself how I would pose on my surfboard.
Yes, I knew you would go there.
Very lovely. One leg up in the air. Not too slutty, just,
What's making me laugh is our guest is also posing. which is absolutely wonderful. Yeah, it was absolutely wonderful.
Get our vogue on.
Yeah, I'll save that for later in the podcast. You'll suddenly look at your screen and you'll see me suddenly posing at a moment when you least expect it. Just keep your eyes open for that. We do have a guest this week, folks. A very, very exciting guest. Someone I've been dying to talk to for quite a while now, because she has been in our Facebook groups for pretty much since they started, actually, along with a couple of her colleagues. And given that we are now our semi-regular series of talking to the good folk at Upper Deck, we are thrilled to be welcomed by, introduce yourself, dear guest.
Hello, I'm Jennifer Wu. I am the Associate Brand Manager for the Entertainment Trading Cards at Upper Deck.
That is a long job title. Welcome to the episode.
Cool. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
No, you're more than welcome. So, Associate Brand Manager. So, that wasn't your job title when you first joined the group, I don't think. At least no. I don't believe it was. So, what does that actually mean? What do you do?
In the brand role, I help with the main brand manager, which is Travis. I think you'll be talking to him in the future. Basically, I check everything, a lot of legal line checking, ratio checking, basically all the packaging designs. Like I work with the designers for that. I work with marketing, and I route ideas back and forth through the licensor. So I'm kind of in everything. I'm there from the conception of the project to the end.
Wow.
Right.
That's so cool. Well, it's funny too, because I thought you had like your hand in everything, because I remember I would post something and I'd be like, all right, if Jennifer Wu likes it, that means I'm doing something right here. And I remember like being in the group when we post something you like, I'm like, yes, because you seem to be everywhere and like part of everything. That's just a fantastic, amazing thing. You're always around, always checking.
So based on what I understand about working on, because I work on licensed stuff as well, does that mean that you are kind of the gatekeeper, making sure that the guidelines that the licensor, in this case Marvel, has set down for you to play with their property is followed at every kind of level?
Yes.
Okay.
Wow.
Everything's approved through the licensor, following all the rules.
Yeah.
Yep. It's a lot.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
Yeah, because I know those rules are challenging at times, I'm sure. Yeah.
Well, great responsibility.
Great power, exactly. So what was your role before? Was it on the kind of artist engagement side?
Yeah, I can give you a little bit of a background.
Yeah, please. How long have you been there? How did you get that?
So my background before I joined Upper Deck was with art to begin with. I went to undergraduate school and majored in like studio art, media studies. Then I went to grad school for illustration. And after that, I was doing a lot of freelance as an artist, as well as art direction. And then I did like art direction for a company that was like a startup in the tech industry. And after that, like while I was working as a freelancer, I did all sorts of like different jobs. Like I worked with a high-end wedding like card designer, like one of those like personalized ones. Yeah. I worked like marketing illustrator, all sorts of random things, a little bit of a comic book coloring as a colorer. And then after that, I moved to San Diego from San Francisco and worked in a fine art gallery. So I helped, sell fine art, represent the artists, sell originals. So, yeah. And based on that, then I found out about this job opportunity at Upper Deck. I was like the first one to go into Upper Deck as an art acquisition coordinator. This was a role that they created, and I was like the first. And before it was like Bubby and Matt that like helped out with getting the artists on board. But the workload for art was just getting so large. They needed someone dedicated to it. So yeah, that's how I joined in on Upper Deck. That was about 5 years ago. And then from there, like, I got promoted to like be the lead of like the art directing team, and we grew, and it was really exciting to see that. Like, so now it's in great hands with Samantha, and there's other people in her team as well. And it's all under Bubby. So I really love being in the brand role, but I'm glad that the art role is in great hands.
Wow, that's so cool. How fun and exciting.
Thank you. I mean,
that must
a little
be
bit
nice.
Windy road, but all kind of, yeah.
The best ones always are.
Yeah, it's true.
That must be nice to hand it off to someone that you've worked alongside and who you know is going to be, looking after it, and especially Bubby just seems like such a source of creative ideas with the stuff that he's come out with. So that's interesting. So you're very used to working with artists, to kind of knowing how they operate and knowing the kind of demands that they're into. So when we had a Q&A with Simone Bianchi on the group about just over a year ago now, that didn't save it. The video didn't save, so it was kind of, you only saw it if you watched it live, and then it was gone. And I remember on that he said that he got a call to offer him the gig, and he dropped your name. So do you remember making that call?
Yes, definitely. Back pre-COVID, when there were all these fun comic conventions, there's a pretty famous one here in San Diego. I think you've heard of it.
I wonder what she could be talking about. That's
I've no idea. San Diego, San what?
Only for the people that know about it, I guess. Yeah, like when I was in my role, I would always be scouting. I would always be paying attention on social media to all the artists that are posting their art. I'm kind of a fan of all different art styles as long as they excel in their voice. And when I met Simone in San Diego, I don't know, it just like clicked. It was like perfect timing. We were looking. We obviously have like our internal lists of favorites. And I bought his book, like one of his more limited edition books.
Yes.
And we just got to talking, and I just felt like that was a really good fit. And so I really, I kind of elevated that, and we just made it happen. Like he was extremely excited for it, and we were extremely excited for it too. Like there was always like a little bit of trepidation because his style was so different from, Juska's. Very different, but that's kind of part of the charm of Masterpieces. Each set has its own voice.
Being a huge fan of Marvel Masterpieces 18, like, one, thank you so much, because it's my favorite set to date. I'm absolutely obsessed. Me and a few other, I mean, all of us are really obsessed, but some of us are just that extra obsessed. And I mean, you have a great eye, obviously. I mean, picking him up and seeing what he could do. Masterpiece is all about that premium. Here's a new perspective. Here's something different. I mean, Simone doing, Bianchi doing the whole choice of, like we've talked about it with him on live stream before, like that dystopian, different kind of area and backgrounds, and it's just all unique across the set. Masterpiece needs that, one artist, and has that beautiful range of this whole new world of way of looking at superheroes. So such a cool, great addition to Masterpieces.
Aww.
For sure.
I'm glad that it worked out, and I'm so glad everyone is happy with the result.
So it must be the most fortunate, because I can't believe Upper Deck were based there because of the San Diego Comic-Con, which has obviously been going on for such a long time, but it is literally a talent pool on your doorstep.
Yeah, brilliant.
Oh, yeah.
Once a year that you can just walk over. I mean, not walk over. I know the distances are bigger than that because it's America, but you can go there and literally see them, meet them, have that conversation with them, and have that year-on-year relationship with the folks who are always there, like Bill Sinkovich, for example. I know he does stuff at your booth as well. So what's in the absence of that this year, have you found that you're talking to that prospective talent in a different way? Actually, no, you're not the person doing that now, but I'm just curious to know how that's impacting you. The fact that all of a sudden that circuit, I guess, where you guys would be displaying and out there and talking to people, now that's gone. That must be an interesting challenge for the team that now look after that acquisition.
Definitely. It's just this event that we look forward to every year.
Yeah.
We always have a booth there too, and usually release like exclusives. So it's just a different feeling, sitting at home seeing it. I hope by next year it'll be back.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I miss just saying hi to all the artists, like going around. And I have a problem where I buy too much art. Like I'm a collector. So it's hard. It's really hard. And I want to support them as much as possible because all these artists are so talented. We're really fortunate to be so close by, as well as there's a few other big ones in Southern California, like in Anaheim and Los Angeles too. So hopefully we'll get that going again soon.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Does the is there anything specific that you buy, any particular genre, any particular kind of angle that you go for? What catches your eye?
Okay, don't make fun of me.
Never.
I've got him to make fun of me.
Yeah, that's why I'm here. It's to deter Ian from making fun of guests. Yes.
My favorite animal is a squirrel, so therefore Squirrel Girl is my favorite. I Squirrel Girl art from like Peach Momoko.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful.
She does Squirrel Girl so well.
Yeah, and you probably saw in the photo I sent over of the bystander card.
Yes.
I'm Squirrel Girl.
I love that Tippy Toe is there on the gator. That is brilliant.
Yeah.
I love that so much.
So straight away, we've answered one of the questions that I always say for the pop quiz round, is that have you ever had a trading card made of yourself? And obviously everyone seems to be a bystander in the Legendary games. So
yeah, that was a big part of my job when I was in art acquisitions. It was working on all the art for the Legendary sets and the original IP games as well. It was a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty expansive. That's a really big. Yeah, that's really cool. Wow.
I have to say, you're probably the coolest of the ones we've had so far, because Matt was a banker, I believe.
Yes.
Bobby was a paramedic.
Yeah, that's right. Bobby was a paramedic.
He was quite a beefy-looking paramedic, to be fair. And you're an alligator trapper.
Yeah.
I love that so much.
That's badass. That's good.
Seriously, in a sewer. I love it.
It's the one question we didn't ask Jason when we had him on, but I have a feeling I might have found it when I was looking around at
Oh, really?
at
That's
bystander
funny.
cards on the internet. Yeah, I think there's a tycoon one or something similar.
I'll have to investigate. I'm not
Yeah.
sure. At a
We
bystander.
never asked Jason. We never asked Jason that question. So
That's
Yeah,
Yeah,
hilarious.
mark that for next time.
Yeah,
I-
we're gonna have
I
to get
wouldn't
into that.
I wouldn't be at all surprised if Jason is much like, as he's the boss, much like the Queen in this country is on every single item of legal tender. He's probably on every card somewhere. You just don't realise it. So when you were. When you were kind of talking, we'll come on to the newer stuff at the moment, but I just wanted to talk about masterpieces because I know a lot of people will be curious. So when you were kind of in that art acquisition role, and you obviously saw Simone at San Diego, what's the kind of process? I know it's different with every artist, but specifically for 18, what was the kind of? We know how long it took Simone to create the piece. It's about 15 months, I think he said. What's the kind of lead time between having that first conversation and then making that phone call and offering them the gig, and then him actually starting it? Because obviously he's probably got other work he needs to do as well.
I think like each artist, of course, it's a different process.
Sure.
But it was a few months. We kind of just like made that verbal, like, hey, this might be something we'll discuss like after this convention. Getting it through everyone internally to sign off on that idea.
Yeah.
And just starting the negotiation process. Like one thing that was new for 18 was the preliminary originals, like that was a brand new thing that I came up with.
Wait. No,
Back it
hold
up.
on. Okay, so I want you to know something since you are the person that did this, and I'm sorry I'm taking over the podcast. I know it's happened, but that's fine. You made me start collecting sets because I only do the character Surfer, to like not live in a cardboard box. So I only do that character. And then the preliminary art sketch inserts came out and I went wild over that. Like I'm serious. I'm like absolutely grateful to you. That is a great set. What a brilliant idea. What made you think of that? I mean, you have the MCC 1998 with Ringo did some of the like kind of sketches for that. Yeah, sketchboards that they're called. But I mean, I love seeing the process of process art. So tell us a little more about that. That'd be great to hear.
It's just part of like my art background, knowing like how much work goes into getting a composition from the sketch to getting it like working everything out, like, and then seeing like having his book, he had some of his sketches in there too. So I was like, this is beautiful. People will love it if they love the art. So, why not show how much work goes into, the lead up to the final painting? Like it just makes sense to me. And to have one of one originals, like to have more of that, like that's a great experience for collectors. Like going back to what I collect, I prefer to own the original, like that's always my favorite. Like I have a giant Phil Noto painting, original, just like in my closet because it needs to be framed. It's huge. Like, or like very extremely limited edition. Like I'm all for that. Like it feels so awesome to own like an original, the artist touched it, that they worked directly on it and everyone else just has copies,
Okay, you are my spirit collector person because that is exactly how we all feel. Well, it was funny because we were watching Bianchi and he was doing, I think a headshot. Was it a headshot, Ian? It was something, right? And he was showing us and just having fun in the group and going, and he spat on the painting or on his finger and he put his spit in there to do the thing. He goes, now my DNA is in there. And we all fell out because we were like, see, that's what you get with an original. You know what I mean? in case we ever have to clone him, we have
in pre-COVID times, I should say. At this juncture.
Now,
yeah.
Now we can't do that. But beforehand.
I don't recommend spraying disinfectant on paintings. I don't think that works so well. For Dave, his upcoming set, his preliminary process is different. Like, he uses a different medium. He paints. So who knows? Maybe like a piece of his hair gets stuck in there, or his cat's hair gets stuck in there. Like,
we will all dissect it and make sure we know, and put it in a checklist somewhere. Like, if you got the one with his hair, then you're okay. That's the better one.
It's the one with his cat's hair I'm after.
That's the one. That's the one we got to go for next. Yeah. Wow. So he painted his. Yeah, we saw the preview of the Black Widow.
Mm-hmm.
Was it Black Widow? That looked great.
The only prelim we've seen. Yeah.
That looks so good. Wow.
All under wraps. Just like
that's right.
All in good time. I mean, literally 2 years ago, we hadn't seen, we'd seen probably less of Simone's work 2 years ago. So, and now we're so familiar with it, it feels like, wow, is it really less than 2 years?
Yeah.
You think how familiar we all are with that now, about each of the pieces, how many discussions there have been about the preliminary versus the final and what changed. And that's the interesting thing as well. There's a number of pieces where the characters either, especially the Battle Spectras, where characters may have changed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That were fighting, really cool. Or the position of the characters changed.
Mm-hmm.
But in most cases, because we were very fortunate, and this again is an eye-opener to me, because I don't have that same background as you, so a lot of this is new to me, but that the preliminaries that were very fortunately not given away, but redeemable. I guess they were given away, I suppose. Because you bought the box, you get the card, you send it in, and someone then gives you a piece of original artwork. So I suppose that is. Norrin, you recently got one, but I know you made sure it got into the hands of the person.
Yes. So I got really lucky. Funny enough, I got the Battle Spectra of Doctor Strange and Planet Hulk, and yeah, I know. It looked really cool. But we have a guy in our group, Donald, who he literally has a website called Doctor Strange Archive. The man has everything.
And he goes and shows his collection at cons, and he's built, and he's a carpenter as well, I think, or at least it's his hobby. And he's got a Vishanti eye like backdrop that he has
the window
for
Doctor Strange. He goes to shows to show this stuff. Well, he came into our group and he was like, oh, now I have to get these cards. So he's been like a huge active member and telling us how to archive, because he does museum level kind of like preservation. So he's been really awesome. And it was funny, we were on a live chat and I showed it to him and his jaw dropped, and I was like, my heart broke inside. I was like, oh my God. Luckily I had a friend who swapped me. So I got Mephisto. And because it's the closest I can get to the Surfer, you know what I mean? So I had to make switch. So I went ahead and so eventually, so he got the Doctor Strange, but he's over. I mean, it was a beautiful piece to see, because you see the whiteout on it and the lines and the color. It's just such great pieces. So good pieces.
Yeah, you were lucky there, my friend. But the interesting thing is we were very fortunate enough that Simone and Gloria, his sister, still had the very early, like before that, the kind of almost
the thumbnails, I guess,
almost the storyboards, I guess. They were kind of triptych, where Simone had just like done very, very loose, but still remarkably similar to the final,
beautiful pieces.
And I've fortunately been able to acquire one of those, and I think that's the kind of the best I'll get. But I'm still very happy to have it, because what I'm going to do is get the preliminary art card and put that below it.
Yes.
Get it framed. I may get the final card framed with it as well. But then you can see all three of them in the frame. So did you acquire any of that for your personal collection, just out of interest?
Ooh,
were there any
look
that you
at the
wanted?
segue.
No,
she's holding strong, ladies and gentlemen. She said no with a smirk. So I don't know if I trust her, but you be the judge of that. I'm just
as far as like original art goes, if it's for our products, I don't collect it myself.
No.
We want as much as possible out there for the collectors.
Cool.
Yeah.
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 I love how when you reacted, you're like, when your friend who collects Doctor Strange was like, oh, I guess I have to collect that now. That should be like the tagline, because that's kind of the attitude, right? You're like, oh, I see something you really want it. I have to
Seriously, you need to put that. You need to redo the EPAC logo and put that underneath. Oh, I guess I've got to collect this now.
I need it.
I need it in my life. Who needs to eat? Was there any other? If you could wave a magic wand, this is difficult now, so I don't expect you to answer this. If you could wave a magic wand and one of the pieces from that set you could own, which would it be? What's your kind of what's the one that calls to you?
Ooh.
It's a difficult one. That while you're thinking about that, I'm actually really glad that Black Cat wasn't in that set.
Ian was funny. You should have heard him. He was like, "Oh, thank God."
I was really pleased. I mean, I know she was in the Battle Spectra, but I don't collect her where she's with another character. She has to be solo. I'm particular like that.
Are you going after Palumbo?
Say that again, sorry?
Going to collect Palumbo's Black Cat?
Yeah, well, the painting's already sold, but I'm gonna have to come at MM20 after it's come out, because I'm having a poor year this year. But eventually I'll get as much as I can of it. But so when that set came out, but what that set did do is it made me fall in love with Spider-Gwen.
Aww.
Because his Spider-Gwen is just wonderful. It's of all the. I remember when I saw the paintings that were, because when the moment that I think a lot of people saw a lot more artwork is when the Metropolis Gallery paintings went online.
Yeah, that's right.
And that was actually the first time a lot of people saw a lot of the artwork before it became card form. And I just remember seeing the Spider-Gwen and just being absolutely like, oh my goodness. Because I had the book, I had the Simone's book before I had any of the cards, as a result of a guy in the group picking it up for me and getting Simone to sign it for me. So once again on the podcast, I will thank Alan Michael for doing so. But anyway, have you managed to think about any of those pieces that you would be in your dream home?
I think, it was so long ago, but like, what's funny is, when Dave's announcement came out, Simone and Gloria emailed me like right after and congratulated how like Dave, how awesome Dave's set looks already, and that they're like excited to work with us, continue to like build on this relationship. So I'm so thankful for that. I would go after Black Panther.
Oh, good one.
Good choice. Good choice.
Characters like Squirrel Girl's my silly favorite character. Black Panther is like my favorite serious character.
Mm.
Yeah, I identify a lot with like how like his moral stances and his viewpoints. Like when people are talking about Civil War, I'm like, I'm not on either like Iron Man or Captain America's side. I'm on Black Panther's side.
I'm on Wakanda's side. Okay, that's where I'm at.
Wakanda forever. Yeah.
Wakanda forever.
He's a favorite, but I would go after Black Panther just because of my love for that character. And
that's
honestly,
excellent choice.
Of Simone's art, aside from masterpieces, I love some of the characters that were not featured in masterpieces. I think he really excels at painting some of those characters.
Oh yeah.
I tell you what, I really like his Doctor Doom.
Mm-hmm.
That looks
Doctor
so
Doom
good.
is so intense. I mean, properly like sinister intense.
Yeah.
I've not seen anyone quite manage to render that with Doom.
Yeah. When he posted that, I liked it, and then I tried to like more times.
Why can't you like to the square root? I don't get it. Why can't you like,
Or the thumbs up just gets bigger and bigger.
Just bigger and bigger.
Yeah. There's a fella in the group, actually, I think he might own the original painting. Otis, who's
Otis.
a big fan of Simone's, and friend
really
of Simone's.
nice guy. Really
Lovely
nice.
guy. And he went hard after Black Panther. I think he went to the exhibition. I'm pretty sure he owns the original artwork. I know he went after the plates, the printing plates. He probably has the Red Spectrum. And,
By now, I'm sure he has it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he has, because everyone was like tagging him and letting him know straight away and all that stuff.
The group is really nice. Whenever we find someone's favorite, if we can, we always try to, get it in the right hands to people, because these things are so massively difficult to find once they surface.
Exactly.
But Black Panther's a great one. I love him sitting on that gargoyle. That is such a great piece. That's really cool.
What I love that you touched on there was the passing of the baton, if you like. There was a great photo that Joe Jusko had on his feed that he kindly said that I could repost onto our group and Instagram feed when it came out, of Simone and Joe at the Metropolis exhibition. Obviously Joe made the trip down and they had that moment, and then I saw both Simone and Joe post on their respective feeds when the news of Dave being on the set broke, and it was just wonderful. I'm welling up just thinking about it. It was just
nice.
wonderful. It was just a nice moment to see. And I remember asking Simone, "Do you mind if we share this in group?" And he was like, "Yeah, absolutely," because I didn't want to share it unless he was cool with it. So that's it's just so wonderful to I know that you can't tell me, and I know that you might not even remember, but that shortlist for 2018 must have been a wonderful thing to see, and I'm sure that many of the other people have already been signed up and are probably working on 2022 and beyond. So
Jennifer's good, guys. I don't know if you know, but she's good.
No,
she's good. Ian's throwing all the curveballs.
No. This is why I'm doing it conversationally, because I don't want to make her uncomfortable. She feels that she has to answer. You see? Aren't I good to you, Jen? Yeah, just nod. Right, where are we? So I'm looking at the talking points here, and so masterpieces aside, how artists are chosen and the process of working with artists to create art for cards. So, are there any? Were you involved in Flair, for example, in the artist roster for that?
Yeah.
That is quite some list. And I expect the more I think about it, then you probably would have been involved in the engagement of artists for Flair Ultra Spider-Man and Flair Ultra X-Men. Wow. Okay. So first of all,
hit after a big hit, Jennifer.
Yeah.
Wow.
First of all, thank you.
Yeah.
Although Flair was mostly Samantha, so.
Okay. Thank you, Samantha.
Yeah, for sure. But like the Flair Ultra Spider-Man, Flair Ultra X-Men, that was just amazing. And also Samantha definitely contributed to that. So that was when we were, just like this crazy awesome team. Yeah.
That's crazy cool. Wow.
Yeah.
So
we were like.
You said you came up with the designs and the box art and, especially with the Flair Ultra stuff, right? The callbacks and all that kind of stuff. What was that process like to come up with bringing back the design of the cards and, all those different choices to pay,
So Flair Ultra, are you talking about X-Men or Spider-Man? Sorry.
Ooh, so
both,
they're kind of echoes of the older sets as well. But yeah, Flair Ultra Spider-Man or X-Men, whichever one you want to go for.
So like the callback designs, that's entirely like Matt Rogers. He was just his concept, his baby from the beginning. He even, included like examples of what he wanted us to like harken back to. We just want to make sure we touch on that nostalgia for collectors. That's like the biggest thing. And so he was instrumental in that, making sure the vision was there, because when he puts together a brief, he does have like a little bit of a wish list on what he wants to see for the packaging and for every single card design. So
Wow.
Yeah, they're instrumental in that. And I just follow his vision,
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, for like new packaging, because I was only the brand role for 2 years. I only started like weighing in more heavily, like I would say like a year in. So, I still try to capture his vision because he did all the research on, every single element of it. And we want to pay homage to like his vision. Yeah.
That's really awesome.
Yeah, like selecting the main art for, say, like 2020 masterpieces to be on the box. That was hard, out of 135 pieces.
Which, of course, you've all seen.
Gotcha.
They exist.
Yeah, listen, what I've seen so far, absolutely.
When you get the artwork in and you pick, I'm guessing you were part of this, and if you're not, so my apologies, but like, which art becomes like a canvas, which piece becomes like a battle spectre, which piece becomes like a base card or tier 4 or tier 3. Yeah. Like we always have people asking like, how do these characters get, positioned in these spots? I was just wondering, what was that process like?
Yeah, so within Upper Deck, we have so many roles. Like there's this role called the coordinator. They're so critical. They are the ones that help build the checklists. I know that like when Bubby started, like he kind of had to wear all the hats. He had to do the art. He had to write the checklists. He had to come up with the whole build of the product. Now we have like segmented roles. We have a dedicated sketch card team. We have a dedicated art department. We have the coordinator team. So the coordinators would take the brief and then put together the checklist. So it's all up to them.
Wow.
And making sure Marvel approves it, and then we go.
Yeah.
When we get like a big artist, like for a big set, like masterpieces together, we obviously ask the artists what their favorites are. So they'll send over a wish list, and we'll try to incorporate as much as we can into that checklist.
Wow. How cool is that? That's so fun.
Yeah.
What I love about Fleer Ultra X-Men, and the reason this springs to mind is because you very kindly sent us a few photos, including your glorious headshot. And one of the photos is of you basically hugging a Hildebrandt, as I've dubbed it, because it is
hugging a Hildebrandt.
Hugging a Hildebrandt. Everyone needs to hug a Hildebrandt in their life.
I wish. I need to hug.
And I'm desperate to hug a Hildebrandt, but they had COVID. And restraining orders, but
we have to stop. We have to get those cleared. By the way,
we have to get those cleared. Yeah. Next time I try to enter the US, it's going to be an issue. Yeah. The choice to is obviously Greg and his brother, God rest his soul, worked on the X-Men sets in the 90s in a fairly big capacity, and also obviously did Masterpieces 94 together. What was do you remember how the decision was to kind of to go back and speak to some of those artists who worked on the 90s X-Men and Spider-Man sets and invite them to come back? I'm just curious to know if that was always part of the grand plan that maybe Matt had suggested, or maybe you had to make those approaches. How did that come about? Do you remember?
So there's some things I can't talk about, but
Understood.
We always wanted to go after all the big names, that have a following, that have that established name. And, we've been speaking with Jean, who's Greg's wife and agent, for a while about different projects. And this one just fit into his schedule the best. He goes after, like the big paintings. Like that's what he wants to dedicate his time to now. So when the X-Men 3x3 opportunity came up, we're like, this is like a perfect fit. Like, let's see if his schedule works out, Let's make it work. And we were so thankful that we could make it work. I was so lucky to have seen it. That was in New York, actually, that photo.
Wow.
A convention there. So I'm so happy that, I got to meet them in person. Mm-hmm. And Yeah, Gene is wonderful. Greg is wonderful. So
Yeah.
Seeing that painting in real life is so different from seeing it
Wow.
Oh, wait a minute. That picture's of the painting in progress.
Yeah, we have special permission.
Hang on a minute. Let me go back to that.
Ian's like,
Let me
wait
go
a
back
second.
to that. Oh my goodness. Okay, I hadn't registered what was in the
Wow,
background.
Jennifer,
Oh,
that's
I was just
amazing.
focused on the hug moment. That's incredible.
Yeah. So that's the 3x3. That was like kind of his, the one that he was working on mostly at the convention, I think. I think he was working on several other ones, but that was like, once he had that on the easel, like everyone was just like gaping at it.
There's got to be YouTube footage of him painting that from people who were there. If he was doing it in an open place, I'm gonna have a look at that. I'm gonna have a look for that. I'm fortunate enough to have the lithograph for that, not the signed one.
Oh, that's right.
Unfortunately. But yeah, I went after that on the EPAX achievement, and it is just at that reduced size, which is probably not too much bigger than my laptop, to be fair. But even that is incredible. So
all the detail, really great piece.
and just having that was such a good achievement as well.
Yeah,
To having a set. I mean, obviously the upper deck gallery stuff, but I wish there were more kind of larger size achievements like that. For some of the sets, that would be quite cool. One of those for some of those triptychs in Spider-Man, Fleer Ultra Spider-Man in the Legacy.
Yes, those came out really well.
Yeah, a couple of lithographs of those would be just in case anyone thinks they want to give Fleer Ultra Spider-Man another shot in the arm on EPAX and introduce some more achievements. Then yeah. No, although we've done our fair bit for the Fleer Ultra Spider-Man calls of late.
We've all
It's
been
fun-
rainbow hunting.
It's funny that you mentioned UD Gallery. I also work on that stuff too.
Oh, really?
Ooh.
Wow, I really love the 2018 the Yankee one, you guys.
Your background's blurred, so she
Oh,
can't
my
see
background's
it, but yeah.
blurry, so she can't see it. Whoopsie.
I saw it on Facebook when you posted.
Oh, you?
I like that.
I was so proud. I was like, she liked it.
Well, at
That's
least you got
okay.
yours framed. Mine's still in the tube.
Oh
Yes.
no.
The funny box is hilarious because they had to ship it over here. That was really funny. My cat lost her mind on that, so it was a present for both of us. So it worked out just
Oh
fine.
wow, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. No, my I've got so much stuff to frame. It's ridiculous. I've got an original uncut sheet from Marvel Masterpieces 1992 that still needs to be framed. I've got so much stuff. But my man cave is a converted loft, so the ceiling does that. So I don't actually have much wall space to hang stuff. So even if I got it framed, I can't hang it, well, I probably could hang it at some sort of weird angle. Anyway, let's move on. So
It triggered some of my art gallery days when people would use that excuse. We had ways to make people buy art, even when they have limited.
I've got an enormous amount of stuff to be framed. It's quite scary.
Use one gallery basically in your house. You swap it out.
Yeah, no, I will do. I live in England. We don't have big houses at the best of times, so the wall space tends to be at a premium. I was going to say I'm fortunate enough to own one original piece from Fleer Ultra Spider-Man, as I believe Norrin is, both from KO Cacao, is that how you pronounce his name? I always get his name wrong. Who we're dying to get onto the podcast. I need to reach out to him again. But of course, because he does his digitally, he finishes them digitally. The finished piece is only as far as he goes on the black and white pencils. So you've got the one for Spot, and I've got the one for Black Cat.
Spot's my funny character, so it was funny when you mentioned that earlier because I have my silly character and then I have like my serious collector character. So, but yeah, Ian has the Black Cat, which is just gorgeous. I mean, both pieces are gorgeous, absolutely, but they look great. It just is really lucky to get those pieces for sure.
He's just like a wonderful, wonderful artist and wonderful human being too. So
Yeah.
So
Super nice.
yeah.
Who is my silly character? And don't say Black Cat.
No, I wouldn't do that to you.
Say
I'm
Black
not
Cat.
cruel. I'm not
I
cruel.
don't know if I have a silly character.
No, I don't think you do.
No, not really.
You're still young. You can make time for it.
Thank you for saying so. I'll slip you some dollars after the episode. Mind you, I did go after Wonder Man for Marvel
Wonder Man's a
Masterpieces
good one. Wonder Man's a
2018.
good one, man.
So
I like that one.
So yeah, maybe. I don't know. Cloak and Dagger I quite like, but I've never really gone after them, as in after. Anyway, moving on. So Jen,
Yes.
we've got on our notes here to talk about Marvel anime and Marvel Ages.
Ooh.
So what can we say about those? Well, let's start with anime because I think that's the one that's coming out soonest of those two. And anime, of course, is original art because it's Peach Momoko.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
So that's, and I don't know what your kind of involvement would have been with that in terms of lead-in as to whether you swapped roles over to the brand team. But tell us what you can about anime, because obviously we've seen the previews and we've seen a little bit of it, but it's not out yet and there's been nothing else released. So what can we expect?
Okay.
How excited can we get?
What was your impression of like what was released anime?
I'm not a massive anime fan. However, I love the stuff I've seen so far. There's probably one of the inserts that doesn't quite sing to me, but the base card art that I've seen, especially the fact that there's a different piece of artwork on the back, so it's not just a smaller version of what's on the front. I love the Doctor Strange. That's great. I can't remember what else we've seen. We've seen Captain Marvel,
which looked great. I really like Captain Marvel. I think my favorite thing about the set so far, which is what I'm really excited about the anime stuff, because I always liked anime. Anime has really fascinating story constructions and really interesting, character development. I mean, the stories go on for so long, and the art style, just being Japanese art's so prevalent in the culture now, especially pop culture. I'm really happy to see a full body and the headshot on the base cards.
Yes.
Because that reminds me of like the old 93, 94, like the back of the cards where you would see the headshot and the meter, the power meter and all that kind of cool stuff. I'm just excited to see like a base set have that on the front, right? So you have that kind of profile and full shot. I'm just so excited about that. Plus Peach's style is so unique too. I mean, even though it's Japanese art, her style is really fascinating. I love what she does with the interpretation of her characters too. And Squirrel Girl is going to be cute because she does a great Squirrel Girl. So that's really cool.
There's a black cat in there too.
Oh, I know.
Oh,
yeah.
That black cat looks awesome, by the way.
Yeah. And I tell you what, her style reminds me a little bit of just in terms of the medium that she's used on the pieces I've seen so far. It reminds me of David Mack a little bit. It's kind of on that spectrum, and I love his work. So I think that's why it sung to me a lot more than I expected it to when I saw the previews. I think there's an insert called Hanafuda that really intrigues me. So I'm just looking forward to seeing more of it and just seeing how they look when they come out. When are we scheduled for release on that? Has it moved or with the COVID situation? I
don't know if we got a date. Is that late August? I feel like they said it was late August, but I don't remember.
Yeah.
Must be fall.
Well, nice.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. That's fair enough.
But yeah,
I get things are being pushed, so that's cool.
And I don't remember seeing a date specifically yet.
What's your most exciting part of that set, Jen? What are you most excited to see people's reactions to? Because you've probably seen all the stuff that's coming.
Well, as the OCD completionist type personality, which I am, I would love to see people collect the full base set, but also the Japanese variant where we all the cards, all the text on the back to be Japanese. Even for names,
So cool.
I think that this set is just so exciting. It was hard to convince some people that weren't very aware of the anime fandom. To let them know that it existed and that it was thriving and huge, because I've been to anime convention hey, these are hardcore fans and they see something in a different style. We've been getting some feedback that people love our original art sets, but it has a more Western style, and they wanted some like, you know, different flavors in there. So we're like, okay, let's try to do this. Like, let's try to combine the fandom of anime. And when we went to Peach, I think that all started like from my commission of the Squirrel Girl drawing at a very small convention. Actually, it was like a very local one. And then from there, we, you know, worked with her on certain inserts in Flare. And then from there, like, Sam took the reins, and she already had that experience working with her. And we were just like, you know, each would be like perfect for this. And that plus like her variant covers for Marvel, like,
are so sick. Yeah, amazing.
Yeah. And like what I love about her is, like, you know, she has a very PG version of art, but then she also has like her very like dark.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was going to mention it. I love her horror stuff. Like, she did this face where you could, like, the eyeballs were out and you could see inside the head as well. Like this. I mean, I messaged, I think, her manager, Yo, and I was like, just tell Peach that was brilliant, because like I love all the creepy stuff she does. I'm a huge fan of that. Yeah. Well, I think what's really nice about Marvel anime.
Like, you're dark.
Yeah, right. I was into it. I was like, all right, here we go. All right, this is what I like. Yeah, because I like all that horror stuff too, and it reminds me of like Silent Hill and all those kind of things. You know what I mean? It has this really nice, cool, dark atmosphere to it. But like, what I love, I hope Marvel anime becomes an actual staple for Marvel cards, because, you know, you have DC bombshells, you have all these variants that exist within different IPs, and I remember the X-Men anime that came out, and the Fantastic Four had like a little anime style to it, animated series. And I remember that was really big for a little while, and then it got, you know, canceled, and then things kind of vanished and stuff like that. But I think this is a brilliant way to refresh the characters, but also keep this, you know, the kind of staple of card collecting. So I'm so excited. I hope this becomes like a masterpiece in its own right, and anime changes from, that's going to be really fun. How exciting. And the inserts too, the Transformer inserts, or the Mechanized. That's it. Wow, that's going to be really cool to see too. And then you have the toy ones where you rip open the pack and you get the small card, I think it is. I forget what that insert's called.
Oh, capsule characters.
Characters. So it's like
they're like the Dyson cards in Thor.
Yeah, and they're like Japanese vending machines as well, right? So you have like that's really cool. Yeah, I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, so they're like those Dyson rip cards that you've probably seen in like Thor Ragnarok, but that's right. You know, just theme it around like Japanese culture. And like my husband is a huge toy collector, so like, you know, it's just like, man, like Matt is too. So like, we were just like, that would be so cool. And when we were coming up with ideas of like what we could do to theme with like, you know, Japan and all of that. So we're excited. That and like the chibi cards, which are also small.
Yes.
You know, that's just like the cutesy art style. So yeah, we hope that like everyone loves this set as well. And Ian, like when you mentioned Hanafuda, like those will be, I think, just like a different feel because it's printed on this like black cardstock.
Yeah.
You know, like so cool. That'll look and feel different.
I just really can't wait to see what they're like. I mean, in a typical way, I'll probably acquire them on e-packs and not have them in my hand for like 2 or 3 years. But I'll be able to look at them every time I go online. I'm really excited to see those. And what I tell you, what I am really excited about is obviously the original pieces will have a life of their own, but it certainly one of the things that impressed me about Flare was that for Flare was one of those sets last year that kind of was a bit Marmite for people, because people loved certain aspects of it and other people didn't like those aspects, and then other people did like those aspects but didn't like these, you know. And so there was something in there that was kind of almost for everyone, really.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling this set might be like that. There'll be people who go after certain elements of it, but not after others because it's not to their taste. So I personally wouldn't go after the chibi stuff because it's just not my cup of tea. I mean, it's not something I enjoy looking at. But the base art on Flair, the more I look at the cards on Flair and the design of the cards and the way they've been put together to complement the art, which was obviously done without any of that border and frillage. It's a really satisfying thing to look through, even though it's different artists. And so what I'm looking forward to with anime is the fact that it will all be one artist. And I guess we haven't really seen that outside of Masterpieces. I don't remember any other original art set outside of Masterpieces that has been one artist.
Premiere was.
That's right. Premiere's always. That's right.
Yeah. Weirdly, because Premiere is so sketch focused, it doesn't get the attention it deserves. I don't believe on the original art. I love the 2019 original art, even though it's all digital, so it doesn't actually exist as a canvas somewhere that someone's sweated over. But I'm really quite taken with some of the images on that. But Premiere is always thought of as a sketch focus set first and foremost. So I think people people don't appreciate that Premiere is original art on the base cards at all.
Yeah, I think people forget it. No, it's weird because it's always really good too. 12, 14, 19, 17, all of them are really always top notch and full original art. And it's been such a premium product. I think you kind of have that uniformity, right, with the artists all being original art. But having Flair, all those different artists, especially for something like Flair, I feel like that's such a cool way to showcase all the different artists. You know what I mean? Like you can become a fan of someone new, and you guys have a lot of really great blending, right? Because some of those artists on Flair had done an insert set for another set. So it's like, you know what I mean? It's really cool. So if you're like, oh, I want to follow this artist, then all of a sudden you can have a backlog. I think my biggest regret is not getting that Jubilee by Peach from Flair. I should have gotten that.
The original.
Yep. I could have. I thought about it, but I know. I waited too long. But
that it wasn't in hobby and that it was EPAC only too.
Yes. God, it was such a good Jubilee too. I love her Jubilee. Yeah. But I'm excited about those black sketch cards for sure. That's what I'm really looking forward to. I hope I pull one of those.
Are they sketch cards?
No, they're not. Oh. They're also featuring Peach's art from the base set.
Yes.
Use them. So they're just printed on there. But she did do sketch cards for this set. So along with other talented artists, like you can find some of her sketch cards, possibly if you're lucky. I've seen them. They're beautiful.
Have you really? Oh, I'm so jealous. They must be amazing.
Yeah. I mean, it's like Simone, like they all have a very distinctive look. You can tell from afar that it's their art. Like they don't, like it's just natural. It's just that's a Peach. That's a Simone.
And the thing is, already I'm sure that Yo's inbox will be filling up with people asking about them, even if they've probably already gone. Any of those APs. I've had someone hit me up on EPACs asking me how to get in touch. Someone who listens to the podcast. It's like, I haven't answered him yet, actually. But yeah, that must be that must be interesting. What I think is a shame about Premiere, I think it's because obviously the guys who created the artwork for it grafted on it and did a brilliant job, and I kind of feel like they're kind of not forgotten. That's the wrong word, but it is kind of what I mean, because everyone's just focused on the sketches. So it's so what we need to do is we need to get them on the show, Norrin.
Yes,
we need to talk to those guys.
Yeah.
I believe they're South American.
Brazilian.
And Philippe knows them personally. Philippe.
Oh, perfect.
In the group.
See, that's what's so nice about the hobby being so small. We keep overlapping each other and figuring out where everybody is.
Well, because I remember someone asked about the original art, and he went off and asked them, and then came back and commented and said, "No, there's not even a pencil layout. It was all digital."
Wow.
Yeah. Cliff, he did like 2 of the Premiere sets recently. Like he is so fast, but
really?
because it's like digital, you know.
Yeah.
He barely does a like layout. Like most
Wow.
this process of layout, pencil, inks.
Yeah.
He's here. And then we're like, oh, tweak that, and then he's like, okay, done. So like, we need like reliable professional artists like that for a set needs so much. Like, that's why we went after Peach. That's why like, there was so much time allotted for like Drusco, because we needed them to just finish this huge project, and they have to have time for it. But Premiere, there's like a little bit of a shorter time frame, so we have to go after ones that are fast.
Of course, yeah.
Wow.
And also, I guess it helps in some small way that Peach and Simone were already obviously on Marvel's radar in terms of the work that, so it's kind of like, okay, well, we know their pedigree because they do covers for us, or they do this. And we had similar when we were talking to Eric Gist the other week.
Yeah, so great. What a fun guy, man. That was fun.
Who's a lovely, lovely fellow. I can't wait to see what's next on that front. So anime, I'm excited about. The base set I'm definitely in for. The Japanese version as well, depending on how limited it is. Obviously, I'll be going for all versions of Cat, except for if there's a chibi one, I'll probably leave that one. But knowing you can have that,
I will take that 100%.
Yeah, I know you will. I know you will. So, and then this week we saw our first glimpse of Marvel Ages, which I believe is kind of later in the fall. So, and that looks like a beast of a set. It looks like a big one.
Yeah.
So what can you tell us about Marvel Ages?
So that's...
What are you allowed to tell us?
Homage to, like, all Marvel. Like, we had Marvel 80th. That was just, like, the light version.
I loved it.
Whoa, that's
Marvel
cool.
80th almost
That's
killed
scary.
me. Don't say that.
But like, that was kind of our testing. And then we're like, oh, this is a big thing. Like true Marvel fans of like the comics from the beginning are going to love this. Like hopefully you'll get Grant Sandgren on here someday. He was like totally... He was instrumental in making sure that we went after like the best signers, the most iconic, and like matching it up to the comic cuts.
Yes.
That's cool.
Yeah, so like this is just to show like how far like Marvel has gone since the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's comic cuts. Obviously, there's creator autos mixed with comic cuts. There's embedded pieces of gold and silver. Like gold. So there's like a Golden Age comic cover, like printed on the front with like a piece of gold, and it's like limited numbering.
Yeah. I think there's 1 to 10 I saw numbering on the one that was shown.
Yeah. We all like stared at it.
You're so excited by this, aren't you? I love it.
I think that's me. I put it on a image by making sure all the legal stuff is on there. But yeah, they're all limited numbering. That's gonna be amazing to have. There's like the transparent Fresnel cards.
Oh, for now.
Those are what I want to see. Those seem really cool.
I don't know enough about lighthouses. Is that how
it's interesting because I know it because it's a type of lens used in certainly British and I'm sure overseas. When I was at college, I trained in performing arts, and from kind of 16 up to about 19, I did lighting technician work and then stagehand work in theatres. And a Fresnel lens is a type of lens. It's that circular lens. So we always pronounced it Fresnel because I believe it's French. I think it's a French origin word.
Either.
Yeah, so everyone says Fresnel, but it is. I believe it's Fresnel. That's certainly every professional person I've spoken to in theatre has called it Fresnel lens.
Fresnel.
So So
Yeah.
it's one of those moments where you didn't realise that piece of knowledge would come in useful, and then I saw that set drop, and I was like, I know how to pronounce one of the inserts.
That's awesome.
But they do look good. Are they actual? And you might not be able to answer this, but are they can't be glass, obviously.
No,
But
they're
are they 3D in some way?
no, they're not
Okay.
really like that. It's just like part of the.
Part of the design. That's
Yeah.
cool. So I like seeing the ripple, especially with the Doctor Strange example. That was awesome to see that. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was cool.
Just gonna need it.
Yeah, definitely. And the base set's pretty big as well, from what I remember. I haven't got the product information in front of me. Unfortunately, you probably have. Was it 200 or 300? Did I see 300?
Yeah,
Oh my giddy aunt!
and it's clay coat as well.
Say that again.
Clay coat, printed on clay coat, so it's like the vintage.
Oh, it's
Deal.
like the heritage stock kind of thing. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Oh, that's called Clayto. Is that what that's called? I didn't.
Like a coat of clay, I think.
Yeah.
Oh.
But it's just that matte feeling, the old school.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. I've been wanting to see that. It's really awesome because I think in 80th you can get the retro set, right? And that's what that
Retro.
was on.
I believe that's on that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, I'm so excited about this.
Mine's
Wow.
mine's still in EPAC. I can't tell you.
Yeah, I have to. Yeah, man, I have to.
That's an expensive one to get shipped. So
Oh, that's right. You haven't shipped that to me yet. Okay. Yeah.
I haven't shipped anything out of there in a long time.
See,
I've
I
got
live
thousands
vicariously.
of cards to ship.
I live vicariously through Ian because he ships all of his cards to me, and since I don't collect like massive sets, I get to look at them in hand. I'm like looking like, wow, Ian has such good taste. And I have to pack them open.
You don't have to spend the money. You get to-
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they get to me and they're all dog-eared and they've got fingerprints on and your cat's chewed the end of them.
Okay, you're welcome. By the way, so rude.
Come on, break it up. There's also sticker parallel of the base too.
Say again.
Stickers.
Yeah.
I hadn't registered that there were stickers. That's hilarious. Hang on, parallel. So that means there's going to be 300 stickers. Ooh.
Let me double check.
Oh, okay. He's double checking.
It's either 100 or 300.
Our official correspondent is checking.
Un momento.
It's funny. I because I went in big for Marvel 70th, which was your predecessors who had the Marvel license. I'm not sure if I mention another card company's name whenever I'm talking to you Upper Deck if the bolt of lightning comes out the sky at me. Yeah. Okay. All right. There we go. I'll move on. I have a feeling there's probably a trap door underneath Jen actually that opens up at that point. The Marvel 70th set had those stickers that were kind of like the shapes of the characters that you could pull off if you wanted to. Of course, I haven't done it, but they were mimicking the style of the stickers that came out in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see what the stickers are going to look like for Marvel Ages.
I love that name, by the way. Marvel Ages. What a cool name.
Oh, thanks. I mean, it just made sense for us to make that name. But there's 100 cards for the stickers parallel.
Okay.
One.
Okay. Right.
Mhm.
Oh, this is gonna be a commitment, isn't it?
There's
Okay.
a tiered parallel too. There's like a foil board variant.
Oh god, this is gonna be painful.
Well, at least the Surfer isn't going to be in it.
Why you got to bring that up? Why you got to say that in front of Jennifer?
Well, because
You don't want me to cry in front of her. Why would you say Surfer's not going to be in it?
Well, because I'm crying as much because I know that Cat probably will be, and there'll be all these different parallels.
Oh,
to
yeah.
chase. So,
You're going to get tons of
Cat's
Cat.
hot at the moment because she's got her own limited series, and
Yeah.
the PS4 game. So she's hotter than she's ever been.
Yeah. It's the golden age for you, brother.
Well,
You
it
collected
is everything. The Gamerverse version of it. Nah, you can keep that. I'm old school. I like my 80s Black Cat, which is why I like Marvel 80th so much.
Well, oh yeah, that's a good one. So for ages, oh man, I don't know if I can ask this. I can edit this out if this is too big of an ask.
You can
Is
ask.
Is there a physical product to Ages? I mean, will it be in like local comic book stores, or is it straight to ePack?
Oh yeah, it's Hobby and ePack.
Yeah,
Hobby
because there's a box image on the product information.
I wasn't sure because I saw the box image, but it looked like a digitally created image. I didn't know if it was like product picture or not. I wasn't sure.
It probably is at this point. I doubt they've been made.
Yeah, most of our 3D boxes are digitally created, just like as but yeah, there is a physical component to this.
That's
very cool.
Yeah, like there's lenticular hot packs. I don't know if we've ever had that before, where you get like the full puzzle in a pack.
That's incredible.
So it's like a 4-piece puzzle lenticular in a pack. So if you're lucky, you can find those. Because like that's the worst part, you know, if you have a puzzle and you only have 3 pieces out of 4, you can't find the 4th one. Like we wanted
that. I remember that with Masterpieces back in 07, 08. You'd have people posting on Scoundrel for ages asking, you know, has anyone got the other piece of this particular puzzle sketch? So now at least I guess you do get them. Yeah, because I think whenever you do them on ePacks as achievements, they're always the whole thing. So
that's so smart.
Good. Yeah,
almost impossible to find them afterwards. Like we try to do the best we can as a group to help people find things, but I know people who are still looking for older products. Wow, so you would actually see the pack and see, you know, the thickness of the pack or whatever. You could see that would have all 4 lenticulars. That is amazing. How exciting.
I think we'll try to make sure that the packs are like pretty similar in thickness, but yeah.
I'll put away my scale and all that kind of stuff.
Because I have a feeling, because obviously I haven't got them in hand, but I've got the lenticulars for Marvelatia on my ePack.
Those look great.
I think they're regular thickness or not far off it from what I've heard people talking about. So I don't think they're like the Mirages of Masterpieces, for example.
Yes.
Because I think the Mirages from back in Marvel Masterpieces 95, I don't think they were massively thick. Just so happens the Masterpieces ones were, because the stock was thick for all of the cards.
Yeah.
So I don't think the lenticular has to be a thick stock.
Wow.
Is my understanding of it. I'm sure Jen will nod because she's probably the expert or certainly works with them. I'm really excited about this set. Marvel Ages. It is exactly my wheelhouse in terms of the sets I go after. Mind you, I go after most sets, to be fair. The exception being Deadpool. I never really got into Deadpool, but yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to both of them.
Yeah, me too.
So,
it's crazy. It's going to be a good fall, man. There's so much coming.
There's so much coming as well. Yeah. There's so much coming in the latter half of the year.
Yeah, that's pretty exciting.
You guys must be chasing your tails, you know, with all the stuff you've got to do, and obviously you're knee deep in stuff for 21 and probably 22. Because I know your lead times. Yeah.
We got big.
I know you guys have always got big plans. You mentioned earlier that you collect original art. Have you ever gone into for sketch cards at all?
I'm very, very picky. So if I were to go sketch cards, I would probably just commission it. I'm so picky.
Yes. Yeah.
That's probably part of like why I was good at my job, but I prefer commissioning, but I love sketch cards.
Yeah, I'm very picky too. It's really hard for me to like commit and stuff. Like I'm very, very picky. Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I think
there's some of Dave's Marvel Masterpieces sketch cards that we haven't shown anyone yet. I really love those. So if I were to spend money, I might in the secondary market go after those because they're like mini paintings.
Really? Oh. Wow. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's exciting. That hurt.
I can't wait.
That sucks.
I can't wait.
So
just feel your wallet.
You still know that guy who's buying organs, right, Ian? You still have that contact?
Yeah. He's probably going to be busy in the next few months. Oh wow.
Yeah, there's just so much content in all of these, and I hope that you can get more of the Upper Deck team to go on your podcast because everyone has such a diverse background. Yeah.
That's what we're finding. It's very interesting seeing the routes that people have taken. I mean, obviously Jason and Bubby kind of knew each other from back in the day and kind of came up at a similar time and came in at a similar time. But so you're the first person we've spoken to who didn't grow up with Jason or Bubby that we know of. Maybe you did. I don't know. But
only
sorry, carry on.
Really got into Marvel like maybe like 11 years ago.
Oh wow.
So I come from a different like mindset from Bubby and Jason, like who've grown up reading comics. I've actually just dived in, like starting with MCU, and then like while I really got into that, then I started reading comics. So I have a different perspective on like who's hot right now. Like that's why I love Phil Noto. Like I just love his art style.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, like Scotty Young, like
yes,
like J. Scott Campbell. Like I love like the modern artists a little bit more. I mean, I love all the artists, but like just from comics. And like I love like Adi Granoff. I'm probably pronouncing his name wrong, but like I love his art style and Mark Brooks and all that. Yes. Adam Hughes. Yeah, Terry Dodson, Rachel Dodson.
Mark Brooks is
all the hits, man. That's awesome. Yeah. Well, I think like having that kind of art background allows you to get out of the comfort zone that a lot of like old school collectors are. You know what I mean? You get to have your broad taste and not have your nostalgia also be so prevalent in your decision making, right? It can really be this kind of like subjective, seeing all these different artists, seeing what they're doing, seeing their different takes. I mean, it makes sense how you came across Bianchi and kind of landed there. So cool.
Yeah. I let the art speak first, but for the people that have been in the industry so long, like Jusko and like Bob Larkin, for instance, like
Bob,
it's like an honor,
Yeah.
Like Marvel Comics wouldn't be what it is today if it wasn't for guys like Steranko, like people attacked it, like, or like a few emails was just insane, like things like that. So I think that's what, like, to sum up like ages, it's like it's a like love letter from the beginning of Marvel to now. So yeah.
That's awesome.
Looking forward to it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm curious, when you started reading comics, where did you start? What was your route in?
It was actually like Secret Wars, because I was working on the Legendary Secret Wars set.
Oh, the original Secret Wars or the recent one?
The Secret Wars version, release 2, like the expansion set. So like the first set, Bubby worked on mostly, and then I helped out with like the second one. And I was lucky to like jump into like the last few submissions of Jusko on 16 masterpieces, which was insane.
Oh.
It was just like casually, Bubby's like, "Hey, can you email Jusko?" I'm like, okay.
That's awesome.
What I love about the group on Facebook is that Bob Larkin joined about 3-4 months ago now, and he just comments on everything, and he's just really lovely. And he's I know he's been poorly over the past year because he had a bad fall last year, so he's on the mend. But he like if ever we put something up saying happy birthday, he always piles in and says happy birthday, even though he might not know them. It's just so nice to have him in the group, and just have that engagement with him, and which is great. So I kind of know how you feel on that one. Having Bob Larkin wish you happy birthday is quite something. So I always do this for Upper Deck people, just because I like doing it. I think it makes Norrin's toes curl with embarrassment, but I like to do it anyway.
Possibly.
I like to have a pop quiz of quick fire questions. No right or wrong answers. So I already know that you've had a card made of you, so we can cross that one off already. The alligator wrestler, brilliant. So that's pretty badass. So no right or wrong answers. Avengers or X-Men?
Avengers.
Whoa, good one. All right.
And I'm opposite of Jason and Bubby because they grew up with X-Men, but I grew up with MCU.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
Nice.
set you're most proud of that you worked on? Which is a difficult one.
Pieces.
Masterpieces 16.
Oh, sorry, 18.
18.
Because being like from the start to finish.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, soup to nuts on that one.
Awesome.
And this is kind of, and because I deliberately said most proud of, and then I kept this question separate, favorite set, but I imagine it might be a similar thing. But the reason I put in proud of is because when we've asked people that before, they always say, I can't choose a favorite.
Ian's trying to get around.
You see. You can pass.
There are things that might be my favorite.
Oh, future things that might be your favorite. Okay. All right. Okay. Should we be excited for 2021 stuff from Upper Deck?
For sure. Good. That wasn't on the list, by the way. I just pulled it off the top of my head. So you've mentioned that you're quite picky about your sketch cards. So I think I know the answer to this. But do you collect, or have you got any trading cards? Because we know when we spoke to Bubby, he had binders next to him of 90s stuff that he collects, but he also went to great pains to say that he doesn't collect any of the current stuff. I'm not sure that he was technically allowed to. But do you go after any of the stuff that you produce? Do you, even at the office, do you keep little as if there's a particular card that you have? Well, we're not allowed to actually keep any of our stuff unless we spend our money to buy it.
I'm with it. Yeah.
Like I would probably, if I had more money, I would go after like all the masterpieces sets, but that's quite a bit,
Yeah.
I have a lot of our games, and
okay.
I really want to collect Peach's set when it comes out. Like, love her style, and yeah, like some of the mem cards, I would love like MCU based ones. Like, I really want the there's like this really cool Thor Ragnarok one with Taika Waititi's auto.
Oh yes.
Which is like, I thought on one of my coworkers' desks, like, I want that. Yeah, I mean, he's like my favorite from all of MCU. Is that weird? But
It's not weird at all. Have you seen What We Do in the Shadows?
yes.
Oh, good.
Love
I
it.
love that so much. I love that so much. The movie just makes me laugh just so much. And then when I've seen about half of the series, the first series, and they've just nailed it. Absolutely nailed it.
I'm going to watch it. I'm so excited. I just saw Jojo Rabbit for the first time, and I was absolutely in love.
Oh, we haven't seen that yet.
You haven't seen it yet?
No.
So good.
It was really good. It broke my heart. Like, well, okay, so I'm going to tell Ian a big spoiler. So I'm just kidding, Ian. I wouldn't do that to you. I'm just messing.
I was about to take my headphone off while you did
I
it.
saw he was like, Fausto, don't do it. Don't do it, Norn. No, it's just such a beautiful movie. That Jojo Rabbit's such a great piece. Yeah.
Yeah, Scarlett Johansson's role was yeah, it's just beautiful. Like, I love how he has this wow, we really changed the conversation to just
I know,
about.
so sorry. Yep, this is
we do this. That's what we do.
There's all of us that have like big crushes on him, even like men in my company. But like, he's just amazing, so talented in Mandalorian stuff. Like,
oh my god. But he looks so like, I can definitely I definitely have a crush on him, I think so. I mean, that white hair, I mean, come on.
Charming, he's
super distinguished.
Yeah, like, and like his stories are heartfelt,
Yeah.
His characters are well built, like well rounded.
Yeah.
100%.
I imagine you probably do more on your kind of branding role, but I'm guessing that before you maybe didn't touch on the MCU sets as much. But I expect now you're probably touching on all the Marvel sets as you go through it. Is it a different challenge with the MCU side sets than it is for the original art sets, or do they kind of
There's different aspects to it. It's definitely like almost like different departments that we work with.
Right.
Everything has to go through the studios, whereas publishing is just it goes through publishing. So,
Okay.
Based on like the sheer amount of publishing in the archives, like there's more flexibility, I would say. And MCU, it has to be really true to what's been released. And like, even though there's been a lot of movies, it's like you have to fit within that.
Yeah.
Like you have to fit within those parameters. And like having big names, like attracting big names makes it like, I would say like just tougher, like they're busy. So it's a lot of different challenges, but I love it. Like it's just different.
So exciting. So exciting. Well, it must be really exciting too, because then you have a new phase, you have new movies, new television shows coming to Disney Plus. Like that's really exciting. That's awesome. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm just a fan of the MCU. I've actually been like rewatching everything on Disney Plus, like marathons.
Yes. Yep. Been doing the same.
Oh yeah.
we had a guest recently, Brian Bode, he was actually returned, and he was on today's episode that dropped, who's gotten me severely into MCU sets, not least of which the memorabilia cards, the autograph cards are beyond my price range, but the memorabilia cards are actually quite attractive, because I went after them quite heavily on the Lost television series and the Battlestar Galactica television series. I've shown Noah in my collection of Lost and Battlestar
really
Galactica
cool
autographed and relic cards. So I'm amazed I hadn't gone there. And just today I had arrived some Guardians of the Galaxy from the first movie relic cards that I got for a really good price in the UK on eBay UK. And they're just really wonderful, and just feeling some of the materials that, they probably had 20 of that outfit made. So maybe you've got one that was worn on the screen or not, I don't know, but it was definitely used in the production as per the certification on the back. But just the quality of the materials, and, because they're not cheap films to make.
No.
You can see the money on the screen.
Yeah.
So,
sure.
they do it. At San Diego Comic-Con, have you had a photo taken with any of the MCU actors? Have you done that thing? I'm just just off the top of my head question. I was just curious to know if you'd ever go in for that. And if so, who would it be apart from Tycho?
I'm trying to think. I've gotten a photo with like Kevin Smith. He's not MCU, but
he'll do. I love Kevin Smith.
He was
great. Yeah.
kind enough to come to our booth and do a signing. So
nice.
And was there.
For your Clark's product, yeah?
Yeah. So that was amazing. I'm kind of like hardcore into the Hall H experience. I don't know if you've heard about that. That's where you have to get out multiple days to get in. So like I have a group, and we like take turns camping out. So it's hard like to manage working at the booth like every single day and camping out. So we have to coordinate that. So there's like, I was like, okay, I have a meeting like this day. I can't have slept on the sidewalk the previous night,
Jennifer is so hardcore, man. Good.
I love it. I love
awesome.
it.
But like we got to see like Robert Downey Jr. like run by us and give us like, a high five with like his arc reactor on his hand, like in Hall H. And like all of the main cast go into Hall H. Like it's just amazing. And you're so deliriously like tired, and it's just like a concert event where like there's 6,000 people screaming. It's amazing, and I really miss it. But obviously with COVID, that wouldn't be a good idea.
No, yeah, exactly.
That's so cool though. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, at least with his gauntlet, he'd be protected.
Yeah.
That's true.
He's wearing
the
a
Iron Man
glove.
suit. Nothing could harm him, so he'd be fine.
Yeah. Like for celebrities, I'm just fans of them, but I don't like go super hard into like trying to get a photo with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think just to maybe like show a little bit of my age, I have like gotten photos with the Backstreet Boys. That's
awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I'll admit something on the podcast. I was addicted to Spice Girls pretty hard. I don't know.
I went to see them in concert.
What?
In 99, one of their last tour before they split finally. So Jerry had left. It was at Earl's Court in London. And
Who was your Spice Girl?
Baby Spice.
What? Posh.
Yeah.
Posh. All the way.
Yeah. No, Baby Spice. You could tell when I went to this gig that Baby Spice was the one the dads were all there for.
I think she's like hosting a show now. I forgot what it was. Maybe like a cooking competition show or something.
Possibly. She did a radio show in the UK for years, a morning breakfast show on one of the major networks. So.
Oh wow.
So yeah, you know, they all. I met Jerry Halliwell a couple of years back.
Oh.
At a Disney on Ice meet and greet thing, and she's tiny. I mean, she's like properly tiny.
Huh.
So. Yeah. Anyway, that's by the by. We've proper ended up on a segue there, haven't we? That was good. Nice bit of Spice Girls. In the tasting notes for this episode, in the show notes, I will put a link to the video to your favourite Spice Girls song. So, what would that video be?
Oh gosh.
Or I could do the Backstreet Boys' I Want It That Way, but that's sung by emojis. Have you seen that video?
How do you randomly come up with that? Is that a thing?
No, it is a thing. Seriously, it's my daughter's favourite YouTube video. It's emoji faces of a fox, an alien, a pig, a cat, and a monkey. So the five, and they've perfectly synced the lips to sing, and it's just their heads, and they sing all of the parts, and they even do the whole emoting thing when they're doing a high note.
Wow.
Seriously, Google I Want It That Way emojis, and it is the best 3 minutes and 56 seconds you'll ever have.
Yes.
I will put that on the tasting notes for this episode. There we go.
That's my evening, so that's good to have.
Mate, seriously, you'll watch it and you'll need to watch it again.
I'm going to.
I promise you this. I promise you this. There we go. I've lifted us with a cultural experience that you've not had yet.
Cultural experience.
It is a cultural experience.
I believe you.
Backstreet Boys. Anyway, Jen, thank you.
Thank you so much,
for giving up some of your Thursday to talk to us. You're back to work now, I guess, because it's your work day. So, yeah. Okay.
I enjoyed talking to you guys.
Thank you.
Discuss any of these topics. So I'm happy.
No, that's quite all right. That's quite all right. Listen, you're welcome back anytime. And we will put as many pictures as we can of anything we've talked about that I can't remember now, but I'll remember them when we listen back on the tasting note. So if anyone listening would like to have a look at that on our Facebook page, they can do. In the meantime, Jen, thank you. And if you wouldn't be so kind, as we always ask everyone who comes on this podcast, to end the episode with our customary sign-off.
Collect cards. Is that right?
It's close. You know what? Of all the people that come on this show, we'll let Jen go with collect cards, even though her phone fell over at the end there.
I love it. I want her to go. I think it's great. I think it's absolutely wonderful.
Yeah. We're gonna go on that one. Thank you, Jen. Thanks for listening to the Marvel Card Collectors Podcast. Visuals and tasting notes for each episode can be found on our Facebook page. You can subscribe and leave us a voicemail via our home on anchor.fm/MCCP. We're also on iTunes, Spotify, and all major podcast platforms. Please take a second to subscribe, like, and review our show wherever you get your podcasts. Our podcast can be found by Googling @the MCC Pod, which will also find us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. Our Facebook community is at MCCW, Marvel Card Collectors Worldwide, and MMC, Marvel Masterpieces Collectors. The great music we use is called Rocket Power by Kevin MacLeod. Thanks to the collectors, artists, and creators who support the Marvel Cards Fan Collective. We'll see you next time, and remember, it's a small hobby but a fun one. Make mine Marvel and enjoy collecting.